We've just got one question to kind of finish up before we throw the floor open to you guys to tell us anything that you want. And this is a question for both of you. I'd like to hear both of your take on it. How do you think tomorrow is going to look in terms of space?
It's a great question. I mean, it depends on the angle, of course, that you take it from. I think that space will open up and we'll see a lot more, space tourism with things like the Virgin Galactic. I was reading back in 2007 that 40% of people under the age of 30 didn't see space as relevant to them. Of course, they weren't around for Apollo. And I think that the opening up of space to private industry, to tourism, will sort of reignite an interest from the younger generation and hopefully, will sustain, a lot of research programs. I think we have a long way to go in terms of space research, and there's just so much that can be done. I'm really excited about it.
The universe will not change very much as it changes very slowly, but human expansion to universe, I think it will proceed further. That is what I expect. I would like to see International Space Station floating next decade above our heads. So that's my expectation that I would like to be fulfilled. And I would like to see more spaceships from more countries to participate in the International Space Program, International Space Station Program. I would like to see more ATV European vehicles to go to space and go back. And I would like to see a manned vehicle derived from ATV, which is being planned right now. So this is my expectation. I would like to see more manned spacecrafts, and also I would like to see basically more financial funds floating into space agencies, enabling them to explore the universe more rapidly and more deeply.
Fantastic. It's so funny. You can pick the scientists that answer that question because they all start with the statement, tomorrow's not going to be that much different to today.
So how was World Space Week in New Zealand?
Dunno, we've been too busy.
No, we've got 83 events, and we had Dmitry Kondratiev, the cosmonaut who was aboard the ISS in April. We had him talking to kids in schools, and that was really inspiring. You could see the glow on the face of the kids and the way they were asking the questions and the way they had the chance to interact with a real astronaut. It was just amazing for them. One of them commented, normally you get all these people that are on pension and they've been to space a long time ago, but this guy is real. I would recommend this for everyone around the world that wishes to promote space. Just having them talk to a real astronaut was just amazing, and probably another thing for us to think about. Promote the International Space Station astronauts to talk to kids around the world during World Space Week, if that would be possible in the future.
That's really important, get people interested.
Dmitry, he had a presentation for about 15 minutes. He showed slides from the International Space Station, and they saw in real time what it was like to be an astronaut, and it just sparked their interest. You should have seen their smile.
Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic that you had 83 events as well. Congratulations.
No, thanks. To finish up, I would like you to talk about a message that you would like to send to the people around the world, both of you.
What do you think is important, Talia, for your role as Executive Director of World Space Week, and Stan, as a young up-and-coming physicist with a bright future? What do you think the world needs to hear?
There is one intellectual message that I should like to say, that is that people should look only and solely on what the facts are, and not to be diverted by what they think would be beneficial for society to believe or for themselves to believe. So this is the message almost identical with the message that Bertrand Russell, he's a Nobel Prize-winning philosopher of the 20th century, sent, and I totally agree with it, so I would like to resent it that way. That's my message.
I suppose for my message, coming from a background in the arts and not from a science background at all, I'd like to encourage specifically people who are in the creative industry to think about space. In fact, a lot of the achievements over the past several years have been inspired by works of art, whether it's science fiction or just big imaginations.
I have something to comment on that. When I was on to the Mars Desert Research Station training in January in Utah, where we simulated life and living on Mars, one of the crew members that came after us, she studied furniture in space.
Oh, yeah. Furniture in space. Also, a woman who was designed for spacesuits. There are so many possibilities, particularly if we are going to colonize another planet. People with design backgrounds and all the things that we need on Earth. It's important. That's not a very, here's a better answer, but I would,
No, it's great. we think so much about science in space, and it's this push for science, which is natural because science is the one that is promoting us in space. But I was thinking, if I didn't have my music to inspire me, what would I have been without it? If I didn't have the arts around us to inspire, where we would have been? Arts and music and everything else, design, are equally important to promote space.
I think so. I think so as well. There's a space artist in New Zealand, Macquarie Scott, who will be flying on the Virgin Galactic, and he creates these huge structures, and he puts a lot of thought into a lot of thought about physics and space and our future into these giant works of art that are very inspiring. And I think that people like him are very important to the industry as well. I would encourage people in the arts to think about space and how they might contribute.
Yeah, I think science can get us to space, but I think it's our creativity and our humanity that drives us to want to go.
I wish I would have said that. I think that's it, except for thanks very much for taking the time to talk with us and to host the podcast series.
And likewise here, thank you so much for accepting to talk to us, especially after your flight.
Okay, thank you.
And Stan, no matter what happens, stick with physics. It's awesome. It really, really is. Like you said, don't get diverted.
Cool. It's a small world at the end of the day.
In the grand scheme of things, it's an extremely small world.
Sure.
All right.
Small universe. All right. Bye,
Catch you guys later. Thanks.
Goodbye.
And finally, just to finish up, we have to thank all the people who've contributed to make this podcast possible. First off, the New Zealand Science Media Centre for allowing us the use of their podcast recording equipment.
Thank you to the amazing composer Rian Sheehan for the intro and outro themes.
To the Kiwi Space Foundation for all their support.
To the World Space Week Association.
And finally, a big thanks to our wonderful guests from today.
Talia Page and Stanislav Fort.
For showing us an encouraging present and future for humankind and space.
See you next time.
There's not a next time.
Maybe there is a next time.